Hello, feature bestsellers. We are super, super happy to see you today. You may notice Michelle is not here with us today, and that is because she is still feeling under the weather. So, Michelle, if you are watching this, and I cannot imagine why you would because you're sick, uh, we hope
Because
you
she
feel
misses
better.
us.
I know. Well, I'm sure she misses this. I'm sure she's lying in her bed, her little sinuses stuffed to the gills, encircled by a small mountain of Kleenexes, thinking, "Oh, I just need to listen to that live stream so I can hang out with my friends." We love you, Michelle. We know that's exactly what's happening today. So I am super glad to be here. We are, I so like August for a lot of people is back to school. So we have a number of college students who come to the stream regularly, and we have a number of parents who are, I'm sure, getting their kids back into school. Um, College starts next week, and I think elementary, middle, and high schools have started, all over the country or about to start. So I, weirdly enough, sort of feel like my years are organized around back to school. I don't know if it's because I love summer so much and I'm sort of an endless summer person, and or if it's because I've been a mom for a long time, and so, like, back to school feels like the beginning of the year, and the end of the year is in May when school is out. I don't know what that is. Yeah, anyway.
There is that shift when you go in fall, which everything kind of renews. So I think we kind of
Yeah.
feel that on some level.
Yeah, absolutely. So before we get started, so this is really odd. We normally have a lot more people in the live, and right now we have like three, which is really unusual. So I don't know if StreamYard is having some sort of an effort, an outage today, or if there's some kind of problem, or if YouTube didn't pop us up and give everybody reminders or what. So anyway, but I'm going to pop, before we do our intros, I'm going to put this up. Good morning, Mary. We're so
Yeah,
happy you're here today. Thank you for this. I appreciate it. Certainly not feeling that today, but there we go. Aw, thank you so much. Ditto. Back to you. Back to you.
appreciated.
Horror Geek is here. Hi, sweetie. Thanks for being here today. He's going to be working on edits for his novel today, which I am so, so excited about. Maz is here. Hello. Hello. Oh my gosh. Horror Geek, you know what we should do after the next break? We have covers to pick from. I feel like we should take a vote on the 4 potential covers for the Horror Geek. So let me know if that's okay. Yes. Oh my gosh. It's so, so, so good. It is so good. Yeah, you guys are gonna love it. Anyway, so yeah, okay. So let me know if it's okay if we do a little cover vote today. I'm fascinated to see what everybody thinks about it. Okay. Before we go any further, let's go ahead and do our introductions, even though every single person in the chat knows exactly who we are. But there will be strangers watching the live stream. Oh, thank you. He says we can show the covers. Yay. All right, we're gonna do that after the 5-minute warm-up sprint. I gotta go pull them up because that was unplanned. I just thought, I don't know. I just have like a wild hair. Okay, so let's go ahead and do our introductions. As I mentioned earlier, Michelle is not feeling well. If you guys have a chance, maybe go over to her community tab and just say hey, and we're thinking about you, and we want you to feel better soon. Robert, as always, is here, my delightful, talented, and lovely co-host. Tell us a little about you and your awesome channel.
My channel is The Story Detective, where I put various forms of storytelling under a Sherlockian microscope and break down the craft to make the viewer's journey easier. New videos in the planning, so stay tuned. And if you haven't seen the old ones, which I'm sure most people here have, you can go take a look.
They're awesome. You definitely don't want to miss them. I love that. That's fantastic. And I'm very excited that there will be new videos coming soon. And I feel like we are going to see them in the relative near future because you've definitely, been working hard on those. So,
Yeah, half of them
yay.
are planned. I just need to get filming the half that I have planned, but I want to get the other half straightened out a little bit further before I do start.
Yeah, I feel you there. So, hi, I'm Lisa. I've also not posted new produced videos for a while, although I do have a bunch that are in the works, so we should start seeing those in the next month, I'll say. I've just got to get everybody back off to school. All right. But hi, Lisa Daly. I'm a trad published, hybrid published, indie published author, and I traditionally write nonfiction writing advice and formerly dating advice and romantic comedies. And I'm like, that was a very clunky introduction, especially one that I've said 8,000 times in my life. So I feel like the best thing for us to do is say hi to everybody in the chat that we have not already said hello to and get to our initial 5-minute sprint. All right, here we go. Mary's here. Hello. Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you so much. Hello, Avi's here. We're so glad to see you today. Maz is here. Good afternoon to you. Horror Geek says, Mary, I've been putting off the edits for years. I do not enjoy editing. That is true. It's so the thing that's crazy is it does not even require like major edits. They're small edits, but I can confirm he has been dragging his feet on those. But he's working on them now. Yay. Elizabeth is here. Yay. We're super glad to see you today. Winter's here. Hello. Hello. Okay. Avi, this was funny, and it was so funny, made me choke on my own laughter. Judging from the profile name, Lisa was the romance geek taken, or you weren't feeling that name. So interestingly enough, the horror geek was the horror geek long before I met him. And for those of you who do not know, the horror geek was the horror geek on Comedy Central's pop culture game show, Beat the Geeks, and was on for a couple of seasons with that, which was really funny because I remember seeing that show. It used to come on right before The Daily Show when Jon Stewart started. Like, if you go back and look at those, he looks like he's 12. Anyway, so that was the horror geek. I did not take the romance geek because I was already pretty well established in my career, as was Mike when we met. So, but thank you for that. All right, you guys, let's go ahead and get started with our first 5-minute warm up. Let me put that on the clock. You guys can get your stuff open. Let us know what you're working on today. Get your documents open. Get your giant vat of coffee or iced tea or whatever that is. Hold on, for some reason StreamYard is not seeing the video. Where'd it go? There it is. All right. I know. It was like, oh, it opened up like a bunch of videos that are like on a different window that are definitely not, like, oh, here's the spreadsheet of all the time you spent writing. Okay, so here, which is super exciting. All right, everybody, let's go ahead and get started with our first 5-minute warm-up sprint. While we're sprinting, once you're done getting all your stuff ready and yourself ready, let us know in the chat what you are going to be working on today. All right, here we go. Starting in 3, 2, 1. All right. So, how did everybody do on that first little mini sprint? Let us know how you are. Let us know what you're going to be working on today. So, Robert, what are you going to be working on today?
I'm going to be working on my craft book. I just found my place. It is about all I got done here in the
That's what the 5 minutes is for, right? Just get your stuff together. We got a hard deadline on that. That's it. Yeah. Okay. So I love that. Love that. Love that. Love that. I'm going to be working on my, on edits for a client project today, which I love this book, but it's going so slowly. And I think I mentioned to you guys last week, like there are tense issues throughout the book, and they're just like they're so labor intensive to fix, and they're everywhere. Okay, so Maz started making a chocolate GFVG vegan. I don't know what GF is. Gluten-free vegan tart because I got my timings wrong. Hopefully, I'll be able to write during the chilling time before I make the good up. Maz, come to my house. My goodness, that sounds delicious. That sounds really, really delicious. Okay, let us know what you guys are working on.
Oh, Lisa's gone. I see that Neil K. Patrick is working on a vampire book. You know, I'm working on a client project on the side, but while I'm reading through his work, I have a short book that I want to work in after my home story, which is a take of mine on vampires and werewolves that I think is kind of original. It's a short book, but I'm kind of skimming through it in between reading the chapters of this other guy's work. And I think there's an idea there. It's in better shape than I thought it was. So that's good on me.
Nice. I love it when that happens. Sorry, I just disappeared. Oh, I see what Maz said. Yes, I just disappeared. I'm on my way. I'm coming over, Maz. I need some of that tart, please. I don't know what my deal is. All right, let's I'm super excited. You guys, let us know, drop in the chat what you're going to be working on today, but I want to share with you what Mike Brackett is working on today. Here we go. Let's see. I think it's this one. Here we go. All right. So this is cover number 1. You guys give us a little vote and say which one you like best. So this one's number 1. I guess I should explain. So this is Sympathy for the Devil is a murder mystery set in hell. Oh, love it. And it's set in hell, which is a place that no one can die. So it's a fantastic book. It's got some delightful little pop culture references. Mike is hilarious and a heck of a writer. So here's cover number 1. Here's cover number 2. Here's cover number 3. Here's cover number 4. All right, now I'm going to pop this up. Wait, hold on. There you can see them all together. What? All right, so Robert, I'm dying to know because you are the artsiest among us.
I am between 1 and 4. I'm only going for 1 over 4 because I like them both, but the first one shows more that it's actually hell.
Right.
The fourth one shows a darkness, but not quite hell. If we're looking at hell as a background, then I'd go with number 1.
Love that. Absolutely love that. One is also my favorite. Mary says, cool, hot concept of a murder set in hell. It's really such a good book. It's incredible. It's really great. 1 or 4, very nice. Those are actually my 2 favorites as well. 1 or 4, and 1 is also my preference. Elizabeth likes 1. Oh, Mary says 4 might be something naughty versus hell. Can't it be both? Ami says definitely 1. Winter says 4. What also has a softer type phase on Sympathy? So I think 1. Pips the post. I don't know what that expression means, but I love it. Please explain so I can start using it immediately in my everyday life. Pips the post. What does that mean? I love that. That's awesome. All right. So I will okay. Ooh, this is good. So, but to be fair, number 4 shows he's a PI more. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that little tie in there looks more like a noir detective.
Uh-huh.
Maybe if you could work that into the first one somehow, but I still like the first one better.
I know, I do too. I absolutely do too. I love it. I absolutely love it. Well, I'm glad that you guys are on the same page. I'm gonna pop this down. Yeah, I think it's exciting. We'll let you know when the big cover reveal happens. We're still gonna do some Facebook testing for the covers, and I think when we come back from our first sprint, we'll talk about how to do that if you guys have not done Facebook testing for your covers previously, and
Yeah.
why you might consider doing it. All right. Who's ready to write? Here we go. I am too. I am too. I definitely am. All right. It did the thing again. Hold on. It did the weird thing again where it is giving me options from an entirely different window that's actually closed. That is super odd and not helpful, StreamYard. Okay. Here we go, everybody. Let's get our first 20-minute writing sprint on the books, and we are going to get started in 3, 2, 1. Let's cha-cha. All right, we are back. Let me go ahead and stop this so we don't end up with that. All right, how did everybody do on our very first sprint of the day?
I'm getting there.
Yeah, me too. I don't know what I wrote. It looks like it's about 300 words, I would guess, just from eyeballing it, somewhere around there. Look who we've got. Eva's here
Yeah.
today. So nice to see you. We are super happy to see you today. So if you guys are just coming in late, Michelle is not here with us today because she is feeling under the weather. So we are sending you good wishes, good vibes. Hope you feel better soon. So we looked at Mike's book covers and we have not picked one yet, although I'm very glad to hear that you guys all like the ones we like best. Horror Geek, what was your favorite? I think it was number 1, but I don't remember. I think too, he was like, oh, can we pull this from number 1 and this from number 4 or whatever it was? But I think number 1 was the big winner.
Mhm.
So before we pick a cover, we are going to Facebook test him. Okay, so he says number 1 was his favorite. So before we pick the final cover, we are going to be Facebook testing them. And I guess I should tell you guys a little bit about the story here behind the book. When he initially wrote the book, which I think is now like 5 or 6 years ago, he originally planned to traditionally publish, and he sent out to a bunch we sent out to a bunch of different agents, and he ended up getting picked up by an upcoming agent at Writer's House, and which is great, right? That's like a fantastic agency. They actually repped one of my books, a co-authored book that I did. Well, I guess it became a ghost book, but anyway, they're great over there, and we're super excited about it. And the agent had some um, really great ideas for tweaks before she sent it out to publishers. And then we had like a death in the family, and we moved, and the dog died, and then Mike got the Horror Geek channel took off, and like a million things happened, and the book was backburnered. And for like 3 or 4 5 years, the agent would check back in with Mike and say, hey, how are those edits coming? Just want you to know I'm still excited about the book. And like they kept the dialogue going. But then I guess it was last year, and forgive me if I'm getting the timing off by a little bit, but it was last year or just the year before that. He found out from the agent. She called or sent him an email or whatever and said, "Hey, just wanted you to know that I'm leaving and she's going to a book packager." So his choice was start all over again with the agent. And he did get like a lot of requests for full manuscripts. So we felt like he would be able to get another agent. And but so we talked about it because I've been in this for a long time. I've rep a bunch of other authors who are both traditionally published or indie published. And he decided he was going to indie publish. So that's why we had my favorite cover designer, Christian Storm, do the covers, which I love. He actually was our cover designer at Ocean View, and I just love him to pieces, and think his work is incredible. And so the reason we are testing those covers on Facebook is for clicks. We want to see which is the clickiest cover, which gets more people over to the Amazon store or to Barnes and Noble, because when you think about, oh, this one costs 10 cents and this one costs 15 cents, over time, you're going to have to spend a lot more money to get people to that 15-cent per click cover versus 10%. Those are just random numbers. Those were not, just so you guys could know. But that's why we're doing it. The more you can have the elements of the book do a lot of the hard work for you, right? A clickier cover, a description copy that really converts and gets people, excited about the book, the better your sales are going to be. All right.
I was thinking of doing the same thing. I thought, I don't want to design my own book cover because I'm too close to it. And
Right.
I finally came up with an idea that might be an idea for my own cover, but I would still like to get at least a couple of others and do the same thing and then let people choose between 2 or 3 different choices.
Yeah. Well, and the great thing about doing a Facebook test is that you can literally test your audience and spend like $30 and test all those book covers against each other. And if you've not done like an A/B test before, basically it means every element of the test is the same. So you would essentially run 4 identical ads. The only thing that would be different for any of them would be the cover itself. So the copy would be the same, the link would be the same, everything else. And one question that people ask me all the time, how do you test a book cover if you do not have an Amazon page up? And the answer to that is create a little landing page for your on your mailing list provider. So if you use like MailerLite, you can just create a little mailing or a little landing page to get people to sign up for your newsletter, which is a great way. And again, it's not something, even if it's not your goal to get people to sign up for the newsletter, it's nice when you're just running an ad test and you snag a few people off that anyway. And I have, weirdly enough, you're not going to get a lot because they're clicking on the book cover thinking they're going to buy it. And then they end up on your landing page that says, hey, sign up for our mailing list and we'll let you know, our subscriber list, and we'll let you know when the book comes out. You get a few, which is nice. Then you have 7 people on your mailing list instead of 0. So that's a great way to do.
Can we look at those covers one more time? Oh, well, when she gets back, I guess I'll ask. Because I noticed that Mike mentioned changing the font for Sympathy, and that's the one thing that kind of stood out for me as well. Okay, I was just saying, could we see those covers one more time? Because Mike mentioned changing the font for Sympathy on the first one, and that's the one thing that kind of stood out to me as well. Sympathy looks
okay.
Not quite, but
All
I
right.
want another look.
Hold on. Let me make them big again a little bit. Okay, there we go. Hold on. And sorry I disappeared. I don't know why StreamYard hates me today. Present. Sorry. All right, here we go. Yeah. So he had looked at maybe changing. I'll have to go back and look. I think these were the original cover comps. And I think what we went back to is him asking for the type treatment on number 4 on a version of number 1.
Yeah. I mean, it's not bad, but the fact that it, sometimes a different typeface can work when the typeface is all part of the design. But since this is just, block type, and then we have the one different type.
Yeah.
It's just the one different type.
Right.
I'm not sure it says Sympathy exactly the way it should.
Yeah. That's where Mike was on it too. I know. And I really like I do like the way that he's done the title. And I think part of it was like the inspiration was, were those sort of like 50s and 60s kind of noir paperbacky kind of thing. So I love that look, and it does have that feeling, but it's interesting to me because I like, just in casual conversation like this, we talked about like Mike really was like, oh, I think I like, this sort of more, masculine or kind of more traditional type on the side, right? Versus that. And I was like, oh, I don't know. I sort of like the juxtaposition of this sort of, cursive font. Anyway. So that's it. So I'm glad.
The fonts on 3 and 4 both probably look more for the period than the one-on-one with the Sympathy there. I don't know if the average person will notice it. I just don't think it stands out quite as sharply as the as 4 and even 3 with the little spotty. Yeah, both of those stand out more to me.
Okay. Well, I'll have to, during our next sprint, I'll go back and see if I can find, because I'm pretty sure he did an update for us. So I'll see if I can find the different ones, but these were the first initial 4. So Maz says, I thought Sympathy being stressed made it stand out as a positive thing as opposed to the devil bit. Okay, that's interesting. In cover 1, assuming. Daisy likes, I kind of like the font on 3 where the letters are kind of splattery. And Horror Geek says, this is great hearing all of this. Thank you very much. Very, very nice. We're happy to do it. Okay. I mean, this is what we do here, right? If you guys have covers you want us to talk about, send them on. We are happy to do this for you. Okay. So let's go ahead and work on our next sprint. And I will try and track down all of the blah 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 blah. I will try and track down the updated covers to see what you guys think of the font swaps, and also I'll try and see if I can't track down the landing page that I did when I was cover testing the cutting edge covers, which that might be helpful. Anyway, it's just so you guys can see what I did. And it basically says, hey, thanks for your vote. If you want to hear more about when this book comes out, sign up here. And like I said, we didn't get a ton, but I did not anticipate anybody signing up for the mailing list just based on one cover I was testing. And the great thing was all 4 covers went to that mailing list sign up. And so, all those people were enthusiastic enough about the book or the possibility of the book, cover or not, to sign up for the list. So that's kind of awesome. All right, let's go ahead and do our next sprint. There we go. Let's get that cover up. Okay, here we go, everybody. All right, so we are going to put 20 minutes up on the clock, and we're going to do a 3-second countdown as we always do. Let us know what you are working on in the chat if you have not already, and right like the wind. All right, here we go, everybody. You've got this. Starting in 3, 2, 1. Sprint. All right, here we go. So I could not find another. I did find the other version of Sympathy. He's Christian, our cover designer, had just sent it in an email, which is why I could not find the link. But I'm going to show it to you guys if I can track it down. Wait, hold on. Our timer has gone on without us. All right, let's see if I can do this. Untitled. There it is. Okay. All right. So, are you guys seeing that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that is, he just did a 3D image of it, but that is the first cover, but with Sympathy using the same font as the devil rather than
Like
that.
use the splatter effect too. So yeah, that works. The
Yeah,
splatter makes it look a little gritty, which
it is.
is, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
And that ties it in with the design a little bit better, I think, as well.
I agree. I agree. Well, I'm very interested to see what happens with the Facebook test. Maybe we'll run that. And we'll either run it this week or next week, and we'll let you guys know what the verdict was and whether or not potential readers of the book are on the same page as everybody here. I'm super excited about that. So love it though. I'm super, super excited about the book. It's so good. It's going to be really phenomenal.
Yeah, sounds really interesting.
Thanks. So this is hilarious. My phone just rang and it was ringing on my computer. I feel like that happens at least once a stream now. I don't know why. So let's see. Mama Ward is here today. Hello. We are super glad to see you. She finished updating my author information media package for an interview this weekend. Good for you. Very nice. Very, very nice job. Mary said that she'd put a couple of covers of Tricked, both on Facebook and LinkedIn. Luckily, there was a strong consensus for one versus the other, but it wasn't very scientific, just a simple vote discussion like you did. So I love discussions because you can maybe get some ideas that you wouldn't. Obviously, you're not getting the same information that you're getting from a random Facebook ad of people who are potential buyers. The reason that the random people are important is because you want to see what causes people to actually click that button to purchase. But conversations like this are really helpful because it can sort of help kind of put the words to maybe something that you're feeling about a cover where you're not quite sure, like why you like one the best or why you like the typeface for number 4, but you just do. And we have Robert here to articulate this in design terms. so that's very helpful.
Glad I could help.
Yes, I appreciate that. That's fantastic. This is for me. StreamYard killing me today. I feel like it has like popped up weird stuff, disappeared me. Yeah. So Maz had a really great question earlier, which I said we would answer. And that is there any real alternative to Amazon at the moment? I try my best not to shop there. So if we're just talking books, you obviously have, in the US at least, we have Barnes and Noble. I can't remember where you're from, Maz. I feel like you're are you in the UK, I think?
I think it's UK, yeah.
I think it is too. So you guys have the big Borders. It's still right? Doesn't Borders still exist or they were bought out? I can't remember. Yeah. Anyway, I did like one of my best events at this massive Borders store in London years and years ago. But I think that they've all been bought. And then I want to say they also have Waterstones. They've got some good. So you've got some stuff. But Amazon is, in the US, it's still like the biggest portion of the book market. So Apple has made some inroads. Google Play has made some inroads with ebooks in particular. Barnes and Noble, keeps trying their thing with ebooks and paper books. But as far as sales, I think a lot of people make most of their money. I think most of the authors I know make most of their money from Amazon.
Yeah. Everybody that I've talked to said that Amazon does better than all the other small ones combined. So it's kind of making your own deal with the devil. Amazon may not be great, but
that was a nice transition there, Robert. There you go. Okay, so Barnes and Noble bought Borders in the UK. I know. So Borders here filed for Chapter 11, and I know this because I was on book tour when it happened. They made a big buy of it was 15 Minutes of Shame at the time. Actually, they made a big buy, and then they went under. And so even though the book had just been out for like weeks, all of a sudden there were all these remainders flooding the market, particularly Amazon, because they were selling off their stock as fast as they could. So, yeah. All right. So, Mama Ward says there's Kobo for ebooks and audiobooks, but sales are meh. I do know a lot of people who are starting to do really, really well with Apple, and they have, you know, Apple has really done a good job with, with trying to sort of explode that ebook market. But as far as there's not anybody that you're like, that's it, I don't want to sell to Amazon or through Amazon. You're going to lose a big, 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 big portion of the market.
Yeah, what you might do, I mean, we've talked about before going wide. I would say go as wide as possible and put it on all of these forums. And then if you start gaining some traction, you might be able to survive without Amazon, but that's still going to take some time, and Amazon's going to be your biggest way in. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's where most people buy their books. Daisy, Mrs. Walden books, that was my jam growing up. Me too. I love that. No trip to the mall was complete without a stop at Walden's.
yeah.
Love that. Love that. I had one of my very first book signings was in a Walden Books in a dying mall. It was like there was like a Sears down there, and it was like, and this was it was the very start of my career, and those people were so nice, but I had to like drag every person in this into the store because even then the traffic in malls was not great. So yeah, love that. Mama Word says I am selling ebooks and signed print copies through Coffee, which is a Patreon alternative. I think that is absolutely fantastic. Love that. Maz says I'm nowhere near being published. It was more for buying books. Oh, you know who I love for that? Bookshop.org, because that is a group of indie bookstores, and they actually supply the sort of back end for a lot. So maybe your favorite indie bookstore, if you want to order online from them, their their back end is probably bookshop.org. So that is a really great alternative, and there are tons and tons of indie books on bookshop.org.
She's gone again. um, yeah, Walden Books was a part of my existence even when I first started working in comics. And then they quickly left the mall shortly thereafter, but we still had Borders. And they hung around for a while, but it was getting to the point where it's almost like the local Barnes and Noble is now. I go in there with a list of books and I can't find any of them. I'm sure if I look at them just looking for something to read, I go through the stacks and I'll find something of interest. But they're not carrying books that's not the popular, top 40, top 100. And that's how Borders kind of fled, because you went in there and it was the same way. A
Mm-hmm.
big giant Borders, and it's like, here we are, same old, same old.
Yeah, yeah. It's interesting because I'm always surprised that Borders, which was a pretty lovely, like I like Borders a lot in the US, and Borders was different in the UK. It was more of like a Barnes and Noble-y kind of experience at the time, and then they had um they had sort of a revamp, but they're excellent bookstores. And now that Borders is out of the picture, which that's been, like I said, since like 2008, that's been quite a while. Um, Now that Borders is out of the picture, I'm always surprised that Books A Million is still alive, because when I go in there as a reader, I do not like, it does not feel like a bookstore to me, even though they have a lot of books, but they also have a lot of toys and clutter, and it feels like going to a Walmart to me, which is,
Yeah.
yeah, like, and I don't go to Walmart because I don't like that feeling of like crazy. Yeah, so that's it. Yeah, I don't super love that.
My favorite chain
No, go ahead.
bookstore was a small Barnes and Noble when I lived in New Jersey, but it was right outside of New York City, so we had a lot of people commuting, and there was a better selection. Being that it was a small store, they had to pack certain things in there, but they were really close to the distributor. So if they didn't have anything, I could order and it would be there like the next day.
True.
It's great.
That's true. I love that. Maz says Google seems to do some, but not a lot of smaller authors. So that really depends on how you are distributed. If you want to be on Google Play, then you're going to need to distribute through Ingram Spark or some other small distributor. Ingram Spark is not small, but through some other distributor. And it's not particularly challenging. There are a lot of authors who just go with Amazon. They go, well, it's the biggest one and I can make my life easier by doing that. And that is a completely valid strategy. If you're going to plan to go wide though, and you want to be in like the Google Play Store, then you're going to have to distribute through somebody like Ingram Spark, which is free. It's just more of, it's just a little more kind of hassle to get it set up. Mary joined AARP in her 30s thanks to older hubby. I love that. Just for the Walden Books discount. Yes, that is a flash from the past. It's been a million years. Elizabeth, who's selling lots of books everywhere, does really well with Apple. So there you go. Fantastic. Yeah, it's that's the one where I have seen my own sales go up over like even the last year. I feel like they've really made a sort of a dent in the book universe.
It does seem to be the next best thing as far as selection and getting some kind of little bit of promotion of stuff.
That's true. So traditional publishers will typically not just distribute you on Amazon. They will typically distribute you wide to all of the bookstores. And so your book will be available on places like Google Play and Apple and Barnes and Noble, etc. Now, whether or not you're actually in the physical stores has a lot to do with the marketing budget, whether or not the buyer thinks your book is going to be something that sells. It's entirely possible to have a book that is published by like Penguin that you don't see in any bookstores, or just the ones that are close to your house, and that's it. That's not uncommon at all. But typically with a traditional publisher, they are going to distribute to a wider variety of bookstores, even if you're not in the physical bookstore. Maz says, I do miss our Borders. I spent a lot of my youth in a massive Waterstones that was in a former bank. I love that. That's awesome. Dawdling Writer, I miss Borders. They had a better selection than Barnes and Noble. True. I think that's true. They sort of reminded me, like, remember when Barnes and Noble first came on the scene, they had like a lot of like now we're really dating ourselves here, but they had like the big oversized chairs and they wanted you to, kind of hang around and all that. And then they sort of moved away from that. They started taking the chairs away and the only place to sit down was in the cafe and things like that. And I feel like Borders kind of kept that vibe for a longer time. So
there was a Barnes and Noble that kept it for a while. I used to go right there and sit in one of those chairs, but the ones around here, not so much. But even the smaller one in New Jersey had chairs. So yeah, it's weird that they would take that out.
It is. It really is. Sympathy for the devil. How about some sympathy for Lisa, who keeps disappearing? I don't know why StreamYard hates me today. I just can't. I'll be like, dang it. All right. Mama Ward says, I bought 5 of my last 7 print books from Walmart, of all places. Huh. All right.
Interesting.
We used to have a little Professor bookstore, which is lovely. I love that. California still has some phenomenal bookstore. Barnes and Noble does have more toys, and now they have like vinyl, and I mean there's a lot of extra stuff. Yeah, I think that's true. It makes me sad that a bookstore can't just be a bookstore. It makes me sad. I don't know how to fix that part. Barnes and Noble is where I go to get D&D stuff for presents for the middle and her husband, and for the godson. Love that. Hey on Why is an amazing place for finding random books. Oh, that's cool. All right. Thank you, Mary. I know. Yeah, I would like the minute that the airport started selling used books. They sell it to you at full cover price and they buy it back and they resell it over and over again. And I remember going into a bookstore before a trip. Actually, I think I was on a book tour, and the woman's like, "Oh, are you sure you want to pay full price for this? Because you can get a used copy for this much." And I said, "Do you know that authors don't make any money if customers buy a used copy?" And there are lots of authors. I would rather have someone read my book. I'd rather have them go to the library and read my book for free than not read it at all, every day of the week and twice on Sundays. But the woman behind the counter said, "Well, all those authors are millionaires. They'll be fine." And I was like, if I didn't have to get on the plane right now, we'd be having a more interesting conversation. Mama Ward says the Indie Author Project is a way to get first books of a series into local libraries, and that has led to sales for me. Good for you. The other go ahead. What were you going to say, Robert?
Libraries used to be great for that. I mean, I don't know exactly what's going on now. I know they have ebook selections you can get from libraries at this point. But it used to be great because your book is going out there for free, but you can't discount that because that starts word of mouth. You don't want it to distribute, wide when it's free, but you want some of it out there so people can get their hands on it and talk about it a little bit.
Yeah, I'm all for getting your first book in your series to as many people as possible, even as a loss leader, just because it is so important to getting people into a series, for sure. Winter makes a good point. Authors can publish directly with Google Play Books now. That's true. You can also publish directly with Apple and Barnes & Noble and Kobo. But I will say, and I have sort of done this like in a variety of different ways, you make more money if you upload to each of those individual sites directly. You'll make a better cut. But if you don't have a lot of time to do that, you can hit Amazon, which is your biggest, and Ingram, which will give you the widest distribution. And, that's sort of a good compromise. But let's see. Maz says, if you're looking for 50-year-old history books, it's a godsend. Mary says, ditto. A-Books. A-Books is fantastic. Love, love, love that. All right, guys. It is 12:30 Eastern. Let's get another rating sprint on the books, shall we?
Let us.
All right. So this is funny because once again, my timer is not up. I don't know what StreamYard's like actively sabotaging me today. I'm not quite sure what that's all about. After everything I've done for you, StreamYard. Okay, so we are going to get rolling with our last sprint of the morning. We're going to get started in 3, 2, 1. Make it count. Let's cha-cha. All right. Very nice. How did everybody do on that last sprint? Let us know in the chat.
I
I've
did
got,
pretty well this time around.
yeah, that's great. I am so glad to hear that. I have like sort of a mismatch of stuff. It's funny because Mary had asked when I said, "Oh, I had to close some like windows because I had like a time blocking spreadsheet up," and she's like, "Oh, I want to see that. I have time." I wanted to show you guys something. So I've been working with time blocking, which for those of you who are not familiar, time blocking is sort of an alternative to using a to-do list. So instead of writing a massive to-do list, which has been my way for many years, instead of writing a massive to-do list of everything that you have to do, which of course, if you are an author, is never done ever, or just a human. If you're an author, a parent, a human, that list is never done, right? And you every day feel like I'm never going to get this done. And I had transitioned last year to trying to write down only the amount of things I could do in one day, because I used to just have a running list that lasted forever. And so then I transitioned to try and have a list that just was one day worth of stuff. And I will say that that did work a little better, because when I finished my list, I felt like I'd accomplished something. Sometimes I'd go to the next day's list. But eventually, sorry, I just lost something. There we go. But eventually what happened is I started adding more stuff onto my to-do list, and I was right back at square one with a massive list. So now I'm doing time blocking, which is instead of creating a to-do list, you literally block off time for everything you need to do on your calendar, which has in most cases worked out great for me. But one of the keys to starting off is this. Oh, can you see it? Wait, hold on. No. Okay.
No.
So it's a whiteboard and it's an Eisenhower matrix. So it's basically a 2x2 whiteboard. On the top is important, and on the side is urgent. So in the upper left corner would be your items on your list that are most important and most urgent. And then you have below that urgent but not important. And then upper right, you would have important but not urgent. Wait, the other one was urgent but not important. Upper right is important but not urgent. And lower right is not important, not urgent. And when you kind of block off your major product or projects that way, it does make it a lot easier to see which of these projects should I be scheduling in the morning where I'm most productive and most full of energy, versus what kind of stuff can I kind of get off my list entirely. Because I was thinking, if it's not important and it's not urgent, why am I doing it? Why is this on my list? And sometimes it's just stuff like, wash the tablecloth from the lanai. So you go, well, eventually I'm going to have to do that, but nobody's going to die if I put it off for another week. So that kind of stuff stays on. But for the most part, I'm like, what can I get rid of? But that has helped me, like, okay, everything that is both urgent and important needs to have a time scheduled. And I'm even like scheduling times to kind of, batch out email responses and things like that. So far, it's working pretty well. I will let you guys know if it continues to work. I'm trying to I'm trying to solve a problem that we've all had for all eternity. I will let you know if this works.
Yeah, I'm
Yes.
doing something similar. And with each shift in the schedule or new projects come about, it takes me a few days, maybe a week to adjust. And then I figure out what's important and how to maneuver it. I was just reading a book that says we shouldn't try to do tomorrow's work today, but to do everything we can, like you're saying, the important things, get those
Mhm.
out of the way, and we'll usually be okay. And I think that's how it works when you're on deadline. You're
Yeah.
always looking at that priority, and you
Yeah.
kind of go through it automatically because you have that gun to your head. And when you're not on a specific deadline, then
Yeah.
things get a little shifty.
Right. Or if you have multiple priorities, you're like, okay, I'm really trying to get this book or this book series launched, which is important for the life I want to live. It's like
Yes.
future use to-do list. versus existing used to-do list, which might include your day job or
Mhm.
or other work that you're on a deadline for a client, or that kind of a project. So yeah, I feel that. All right, well, before we do our outros today, so this about me. Every day I pull a tarot card before I start working, just to sort of set the tone for the day. And today I got the Four of Wands, and I am not a tarot expert by any stretch. I have to read the book every day. I get some of the cards, I go, "Ooh, that one's a good one. I remember that," but I don't remember all the details. But the Four of Wands is all about celebrating your wins and sort of appreciating where you are and what you've accomplished in the moment. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because we just talked about those massive, massive to-do lists, and especially for authors, and especially of those working by ourselves, what happens is you just go on, you like, okay, I've accomplished that. Then you just go on to the next project, the next, the next, the next. And when you do that, your body and your brain don't really register what you've accomplished. So today, I would like to task you with this. At some point today, give yourself a little pat on the back, allow yourself a little moment of peace and happiness and celebration to, just to sort of celebrate what you have accomplished either today or this week. So that's an order. Uh, but,
Yeah.
but, right? Feel it. Enjoy make a lunch date with a friend or a significant other, or have daytime sex or whatever it is. So, or go sit out in the sunshine. Just like do a little something to celebrate and enjoy today.
Yeah. I mean, it is about enjoying it and finding a way to enjoy the tasks, even if we don't want to do it, and finding our peace with it.
Yes, that too. That too. I think sometimes it's important. It's really important to celebrate those.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so we are just about done for the day. Before we go, Robert, tell us a little about you and your channel for anybody who came in a little later today.
Well, my channel is The Story Detective, where I have and will continue to take various forms of storytelling and put it under a Sherlockian microscope, break down the craft, analyze it, give it to the viewer to make your craft journey easier. So there's new videos in the planning. There's a season that I'm planning, which will be in the not too distant. Older videos are still there. There's a lot of stuff that Georgie and I were looking at the channel and the ideas we had up front, and we just didn't have the views to get those things across. So they'll probably be redo videos because people never go back and watch those things. But there's a
They
lot of good
never
stuff
reach their
there.
full potential.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I love that you're going to do that. There's so much good stuff on your so much good stuff on your channel. So thank you guys so much, Mama Ward. Thank you very much for the impromptu tarot card discussion. Love that. That's really awesome. I'm Lisa Daly. I'm a traditionally published hybrid author, now indie published. And on my channel, we talk about how to write a book you're super proud of and get it published. So thanks so much for being here, everybody. And we will see you next week.
Take care,
Bye,
everybody.
everybody.
Keep those keyboards